board meeting. Can you please rise for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. As every meeting, we generally start with privilege of the floor. If any of there are petitioners, please remember we need to keep this to 3 minutes since we've had some really lengthy meetings due to the petitioners. I saw a hand right here. We can start with you.
Good evening, members of the board. I want to thank the board for their time and for allowing us the opportunity to continue addressing questions transparently and factually. At the last meeting, a statement was read that included several inaccuracies and mischaracterizations about both the project and our process, so I'd like to respectfully clarify those points on record. First and foremost, it's not a data center. The core function of our project is agricultural, a hydroponic farming operation that grows produce year-round using sustainable technology. This explanation was clearly presented and discussed at the July Planning Board, and we encourage everyone with lingering uncertainty to review the recording of that meeting. Unfortunately, this portion of the discussion was not accurately reflected in the official minutes, despite our explicit request that it be included. That omission has contributed to continued misunderstanding about the nature of our project, even though the facts were already placed on record months ago. Second, the term agribusiness is not something new or something manufactured or redefined. It's a term we use widely by the USDA and the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. It refers to any business engaged in agricultural production, processing, or technology that supports farming. However, I want to highlight a broader procedural concern. The board has a legal obligation to interpret permitted uses under the zoning code, such as farm or agriculture, and then apply the standard accessory use test to determine whether supporting technology or infrastructure is consistent with those uses. Instead, much of the recent discussion has centered on the term agribusiness that is not defined anywhere within the zoning code and has been used as a bias to suggest prohibition. That approach represents a misapplication of the law because it bypasses the town's responsibility to interpret existing permitted categories and evaluate how this project aligns with them. There were also comments suggesting that our project would consume enough energy to power 400 homes and therefore not environmentally friendly. That is incorrect. The 3 gigawatts figure referenced a theoretical park estimate for a system sizing, not the project's actual energy. In practice, consumption depends on the hydroponic design and the research cycle. This project seeks to solve the problem in agriculture in improving thermal efficiency and reducing waste. It also was stated that NYSEG was not consulted, which is false. We have been in contact with NYSEG engineers to confirm grid compatibility, and our project load is well within the local capacity. Another misconception is that our proposal covers 153 acres of development. We clarified this in July. We're not constructing any new buildings and will use the existing barn structures only. Any suggestion to the contrary is speculative and misleading. In addition, there has been confusion regarding our zoning determination letter. That letter was part of a separate procedural process and unrelated to this PDD application. Linking the two misrepresents their intent and confuses both the board and the public. Finally, I want to address the concern that this project would, quote, fundamentally change the neighborhood. In reality, our footprint is small, quiet, and sustainable. We are reusing existing farm infrastructure and introducing clean technology that reduces water use by more than 90% and energy costs by over 50%. It's innovation in agriculture, not industrialization. As always, we remain open and transparent and have nothing to hide. I urge the board and the community to evaluate this proposal based on facts and documentation, not assumption and misinformation. We're proud to bring forward a model that reflects both Oneonta's agricultural heritage and its potential for sustainable growth. There's been a repeated theme in these meetings that the board has, quote, so many questions about this project, but I think it's fair and necessary to ask in return, has the board actually ever sent us those questions? We've made it clear on multiple occasions that we're open to dialogue. We invited both the town and planning board to tour the property on July 16th, 2025, to walk through the barn, see the layout, and understand physically what this project is and is not. Not one person has taken us up on that offer or even replied to our request. No written list of questions has ever been shared, no site visit has been scheduled, and no effort has been made to sit down with us, people who are ready and willing to provide any clarification that this board might need. So the idea that we don't have enough information doesn't hold up when every opportunity to learn more has been declined. The truth is simple, we can't move forward towards understanding if there's no willingness to engage. You can't keep saying we have questions when you've never asked them directly to the people who have answers. We remain ready today, tomorrow, and any day you choose to walk through the site and show you exactly what this project looks like. All I ask in return is that this process is guided by facts and fairness, not assumptions or avoidance. And Ryan, I'm just submitting this to you along with the original letter from July.
Thank you.
So I'd like to respond in part to what was just said. So we've heard that this is not a data center, that it's an agribusiness. From the May 1st filing that they submitted, what it says in a quote is, the parcel is proposed to be rezoned to industrial to accommodate a data center, end quote. The proposed change is, quote, data cent for to create, quote, data centers and associated utility infrastructure, end quote. That's from their own filing. Then, on September 30th, which they filed on October 3rd, it became an agribusiness. So that transformation seems like a very clear attempt to get the board to approve something that actually should not be approved. And we can see that there's many contradictions between subsequent filings and their initial filings. Another example. Their initial filing has 150,000 kilowatts per year as the intended electricity use. On October 3rd, that's multiplied by 20, and it's become 3 million kilowatts per year. So either their project just exploded 20 times, or they're changing the plan in order to try and meet the board's approval. And they've been like downscaling the proposal in order to make it seem like it's not the scale of operation that it is. Here's another example of where we can see that. They want it to be considered a home occupation business, meaning that only no more than one person outside the family residency will be on the premises shall be employed. And at the same time, in their proposal selling the project to the town, they tell us that it will offer jobs to boost. I'm sorry, give me a second to find this here. That it's going to create jobs for high-skill AI talent. So it either has no jobs and so can be considered home occupation, or it creates jobs, but it can't be both, and they want it to be both. Another example of obfuscation is the scale of the operation, which they say they're using $1 million of equipment right now to quote, heat a space that's 1,300 square feet. That was said out loud in the last meeting. Now, if the business is growing food, you're not going to use $1 million of heating equipment to grow food in 1,000 or 1,300 square feet of space. That's not a viable business. So what they say in their most recent filing, which is that to maintain continuous thermal energy for year-round climate control, the computers will also have to perform computing activities outside of monitoring grow operations. Any such activities are necessary for incidental and subordinate to the agricultural business and are thus a permitted accessory use under the code. In other words, they're only running the computers, they claim, as a heat source for the food. That's obviously nonsense. You don't use $1 million of heating equipment to grow 1,300 square feet of food. The business is what they said in their initial proposal, which is a data center. And by putting a couple plants in the room with the server racks, it doesn't become an agricultural business. But that's what they would have you believe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What was your name correct, sir?
Brett Jim.
My name is Marie Lucens. If anyone doesn't know me at this point, I lived at 357 County Highway 9 for 40 years. We built the place. We used it for numerous things. We used it at first for cows. We had over 30 cows there, which at one point broke out and went all over Chestnut Street and into the
auction place. We also had over 30 horses at one point. The farm has gone through a number of changes. From there, it went, as I said, to a horse farm. From there, after my husband passed away, it became a bed and breakfast, which was okay with the town board. I just want to make one thing clear. At any time that we use the property, we have always used our own water. We have never used town of Oneonta water. There is no water out there. We are not in the water district. The property has the capacity between above and below for about 1 million gallons a day. We do not need anybody to worry about water usage. We never used any place else other than there. The septic, there are 3 septics there now on the property which we used for whatever we needed. We put the new ones in. When we moved in, when we added barns to it, we added septics there. So at any point, we never had a problem with our septic. We never had a problem with our water. As I said, between the lower barn and the upper barn and the pond, we have never had the need for any other water sources at all. And our water has been tested for bed and breakfast people. It was tested for our animals down below. We had children down there. We had parties there for 100 people or more. We use the place all the time from the moment that we moved there until I left. So I just want to make everyone aware of the fact that water should not be an issue here. The water will be recycled and reused again. It will not be flushed down into the creek. It will be completely recycled. So I want to make that clear. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm Jacqueline Christensen, 129 Hillside Drive. So transparency. When I spoke in October, transparency was my central concern regarding the farmhouse rezoning hearing. Due to tonight's order of operations, so we all get to talk first, privilege of the floor, and then the vague agenda, I'm unsure why Stewart's is presenting. I'm here to listen. Perhaps it's about a gas station near Price Chopper. Those of us on the East End were never opposed to a gas station in general. We were opposed to rezoning perfectly good residential property when there's already ample commercial land available on the business side of Route 7. Fortunately, that rezoning request was not approved, and I thought my calendar would be clear tonight. So I can only hope that Stewart's presentation is not about the farmhouse property for 2 reasons. First, because it would be a really, really bad look for those who insisted that there was no development associated with the proposal, and who dismissed it as just a rumor. Even Mr. Maybe, who was the technical dude, became very defensive last month when residents suggested otherwise. Second, because it would show blatant disregard for the hearing outcome, the lack of support for the available data gathered, and for the many community members who spent time and energy participating in good faith that the outcome would be respected. If this presentation is, in fact, about the farmhouse property, I want to say this. While I sympathize with Mr. Patton's desire to generate revenue from his property, that's his problem. It should not become a community problem. He needs to figure out a solution that respects the residential zoning instead of embarking on a drawn-out Machiavellian effort to push through a project that contradicts the town's comprehensive plan and public sentiment. So I will reiterate what I said in October. When money and property interest exploit bureaucratic loopholes to override community needs, that's a problem. When officials allow it, that's not just a policy failure, it's a breach of public trust. I also see Eco-Yada on the agenda tonight, and I look forward to learning more. But I have to point out a troubling inconsistency. In September and October, we were told that a zoning request could exist without development plans. No, development associated. In this case, the board is digging deeply, and people are digging deeply into Eco-Yada's plans to justify whether rezoning makes sense. Why does it matter what Eco-Yada is doing? Because apparently it was supposed to not matter when it came to the farmhouse property. I understand these are different types of zoning requests, B2 versus PDD, but the principle is the same. If transparency matters, then it must apply equally. Let's hold every rezoning proposal, farmhouse, Eco-Yada, any other, to the same fair, open, and honest standard.
Thank you.
I'm going to read tonight a letter from Keith Shillow, who's unable to be here, and ask that it's be read. And if this could be put in the minutes, I'll give Brian a copy. Echo Yoda underestimates and/or misrepresents the potential for negative environmental and aesthetic impacts. The PDD application indicates that activities will be confined to an existing garage and barn, yet the proposal requests rezoning of the entire 153-acre property. The justification for the large acreage is unclear and could pave the way for expansion of the business. A vertical farming operation on 153 acres run by computer servers will likely generate unintended consequences such as increased demand for electricity, increased traffic, and generation of agricultural pollutants. In its full environmental assessment form, Echo Yoda asserts the business will not impose major impacts on waste management. This is a glaring misrepresentation of indoor farming operations. Although the proposed growing system recycles water, the proposed operation will require 2,200 gallons of water per day. Approximately 110 gallons will be wastewater that will contain nitrate and phosphate, both of which are considered agricultural pollutants. Echo Yoda asserts that its work will not involve or require management or disposal of solid waste. However, indoor growing operations are known to generate various solid waste from plants, growing medium, growing containers, latex glove, etc. An operation for lettuce generates 1.5 pounds of waste per pound of lettuce. The amount of waste from 11,000 square foot operation will average 90,750 pounds per year. Echo Yoda admits that the proposed operation will increase additional demands for electricity, presumably from LED lighting and use of computer servers. They estimated an annual electricity demand of 3 million kilowatt hours. And the long-term impact of this increase is worth considering because it may contribute to underlying rate hikes. The amount of food produced by an 11,000 square foot indoor growing facility is not insignificant and will require daily harvesting, packaging, and distribution. Echo Yoda anticipates 5 to 10 people, staff, and students will travel to the site each day. A highly automated indoor farm typically requires 4 to 6 full-time employees who possess specific technical skills. In addition, a farm manager with expertise in plant science is necessary to maintain proper growing conditions and oversee disease prevention. Operation assistants and packers are also required. It seems unlikely that student researchers will fulfill these needs. Echo Yoda has no record of experience with agriculture, let alone indoor growing systems. Their ignorance is illustrated by their description of their proposed operation. They classify their facilities as indoor greenhouses, but the indoor growing system will be housed in a garage and barn. Greenhouses take advantage of natural sunlight, whereas the facility described by Echo Yoda is more appropriately classified as a vertical farming system that requires high-intensity artificial light. Echo Yoda plans to focus on agricultural research, but lacks both the professional skills and institutional support required for meaningful scientific research. They claim they will collaborate with SUNY Oneonta to seek grants and engage in research. However, the MOU with Oneonta does not mention agricultural research or collaboration on grant development. Moreover, the school has no academic or research programs that deal with agricultural production and therefore cannot provide the expertise and facilities required for developing competitive grant proposals for agricultural research. Although the school's biology department has a greenhouse, it is not equipped for growing crops. It is important to note that neither the department nor the faculty member responsible for the facility were made aware of any agreement between the SUNY Oneonta president and Echo Yoda. The idea that the Echo Yoda facility will offer benefits to local agricultural consumers is disingenuous. According to most financial analyses, vertical farming operations have not been economically sustainable and have declared bankruptcy in the past 3 years. Most experts now believe that indoor farming should be confined to locations with low utility costs, for example, rich Middle Eastern nations, or where high utility costs can be offset by the lower cost of transporting produce to markets, such as large urban areas. It is unlikely that local farmers who use conventional methods will benefit from the work proposed by Echo Yoda. The high startup costs associated with indoor agriculture are prohibitive for most local market gardeners, and the types of crops are more suitable for the restaurant trades of large metropolitan areas. In summary, the Echo Yoda proposal lacks credibility. Based on available information, it seems likely that the proposed agribusiness will not be a sustainable enterprise and will be more of a burden than benefit to the community. This is Keith Schillo.
Thank you.
May I also submit mine?
Hi, I wanted to.
Just say your name for the board.
Oh, sorry, JC, Chase. And I wanted to follow up on one of the speakers, bring up some points about sort of the history of this proposal changing and really questioning what it is this business. And in terms of the proposal changing, I also want to point out to everyone the social media messaging that's changed. EcoYoda had on their Instagram, I have screenshots of a post that's been removed. It was removed October 9th, the day after the last town hall meeting that we had. A new post was added the next day. The post that was removed says, EcoYoda, powering the future of AI and data infrastructure. Hashtag EcoYoda, hashtag the future is now, hashtag AI, hashtag data center. Yet, Ms. Dave, in front of this entire board, accused this town of spreading dangerous misinformation by calling it an AI data center. And frankly, I think insulted our intelligence as a community to try to claim that that's not what this is and that's not what it was intended. The other slides on this post talk about harness the power of high-performance cloud infrastructure designed for speed, efficiency, and scalability. Our solutions empower businesses to process, store, and analyze data seamlessly. Data security is at our core with state-of-the-art encryption, real-time threat monitoring, and compliance-driven frameworks. We ensure your data remains protected in an evolving digital landscape. From AI-powered analytics to next-gen storage solutions, we're revolutionizing how data is stored, processed, and utilized, helping businesses make smarter, faster decisions. So I think that answers that question of why would you have $1 million of equipment to grow some food? You wouldn't. You're obviously selling this data service alongside of that, and that's what the business is. And I don't know about anybody else, but I mean, if you look at every business, their goal is growth, right? So at what point does this set of servers become a complete, it needs to scale, we need to have more servers, and so the intention would be to grow to serve that business. On October 9th, that post had been removed after the meeting. And a new post went up that's all green instead of purple and blue and techie, kind of graphics like hydroponic agriculture, grow more with less, use up to 90% of water than traditional farming, year-round harvest. And so the marketing message is completely shifted as a response to our town calling it out that we don't want this here. I think it would be an insult to our community to let that stand, to say that it's a dangerous lie that we're just repeating back what the proposal said and what their own public Instagram said. So I just wanted to point that out to everyone in case people hadn't seen it and share that with the board. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Tamara Miller. I want to go off of what was just said and kind of highlight that bit of transparency and urge the board to stick with that sentiment of we need more understanding, we need more transparency, and really hold strong on trying to understand what this project is. Because that has changed. The message has clearly changed. The website has changed. I believe in October, the website did have photos of technology. They have since changed those things to people working in a field on a farm. So I want to urge the board to keep up that transparency and that interest for transparency on this project, but more importantly, I guess for EcoYoda to focus on maybe their website and maybe giving folks more information via website instead of kind of doing it at only these meetings. It almost feels, in my opinion, a little performative when they do it only at these board meetings and not on maybe their website or social media and things of that nature. And I think holding steady and fast on that idea that transparency is needed from the board, I hope that you can hold on to that. And the other bit, kind of going off of what a few folks have also said, I think the transparency of what the business is important to keep in mind because, if it's a farm, if it's agriculture, that's one thing, but it seems as though that is a secondary, that is a greenwashing way of saying it's an AI data center that also grows food. So what is the main source of income? Is it AI data storage or is it agro? Because it wasn't always agro from the get-up. It kind of shifted and changed. And the greenwashing, in my opinion, and maybe those of others, is apparent. So I think holding on those ideas and kind of, holding EcoYoda accountable of being transparent, I hope that the board can stick on that. So thank you.
Thank you. If there's no more comments,
Right, hold on, one second. Hi everyone, Will Rivera. Just really quick, I do want to say that I look forward to learning along with our neighbors here. These two presentations, like everyone else, I will be listening as well. But really quick, I do want to emphasize public trust. And this is why everyone is here, and this is why everyone has come here multiple times, is public trust. And I just wanted to ask my soon-to-be colleagues to listen to the voices of the neighbors, those who they serve. We serve our people, not corporations. So please keep that in mind, and let's focus on the people who have elected us and who are giving us their trust to serve our needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Michelle.
I just want to, I'm Michelle Payton. I've been your county rep for the last 4 years. I just want you all to know it's been wonderful working with all of you. You're very professional. And in the future, if I find anything else that I think you'll want in terms of grants or projects, please know that I will pass that along. It's been a pleasure. And I do want you just to know there's one thing that's I want to highlight with the county that I just think might be important to know, is that the county is responsible if someone is accused of a criminal act and they get through the court system and the judge deems them mentally unstable to fit trial, then they send them to one of two correctional facilities within the state. And so that has occurred in our county since July. We've had 2 individuals. And so since July, the county has to pay for them. So our mental health has come and asked for funds to pay for those attorneys. So in July, it was $51,000. In August, it was $160,000. In September, it was $141,000. In October, it was $100,000. And then in November, it's $175,000. And next month will closely be the same. So it's almost $750,000 since July for 2 people that are deemed unable for mental health reasons to stand trial, that we as a county have to pay while they're getting assistance in correctional facilities. So in thinking of that in terms of next year, or if there's any housing facilities that go up that want to help the mental, people that have mental issues, I hope that you look at that with a lot of security, because this is a lot of money that the county didn't budget for, but we have to pay for it. So it's not really out there. A lot of people don't know about it, but I wanted you to know that because it could affect the future. And so if the county has to cover $1 million in a year, something else is going to suffer. So I just want to share that.
So thank you, Michelle. We owe you a lot of gratitude. You've helped us in more ways than we can count, both with grants and just everything all around, I would say. So I think we're really thankful for your help over the years. Speaking of thanks, I want to thank the West Oneonta Fire Department. I think I see some people here for assisting yesterday in a structure fire on Winnie Hill. They did an excellent job. So thank you to them, as well as I see some other people here. Thank Pickets for responding with some materials to help hold up the burnt structure. So I want to thank them as well. They're an asset to our community. To start our presentations, we have Stewart's Shops. Someone from Stewart's.
Oh. Good evening. I'm Chuck Marshall from Stewart Shops. To the woman who spoke during approach of the floor, I apologize. I'm completely unfamiliar with any prior application material that was presented before this body. I'm here to just introduce, I guess, 2 pieces of information that I think are clarifying pieces. And again, we are, for lack of better terms, a contract vendee for the farmhouse project or farmhouse property. We are not the owner. So the 2 pieces of relevant information Mr. Patton submitted for the zone change, as we understand it, is 1, there was a belief that the building could be repurposed, and the building has since been condemned. So the building is coming down. And the second piece was that Stewart's or any other gas convenience station would be able to go to the Price Chopper Plaza. I sent a letter to the board last week indicating that in 2013, Stewart's actively pursued the Price Chopper Plaza. However, a prohibition in the Price Chopper lease prohibits an entity such as ourselves from ever going there. So we're seeking the zone change because in that corridor, there's no other suitable locations other than those two. We did receive a positive recommendation from New York State DOT that the farmhouse could be adapted for access, given that currently there is no access, but upon modification of that traffic signal, we would be able to utilize the site for a convenience store with gas. And again, our site down the road right here is killing it. No complaints. Everyone's very happy with the outcome. And again, an underutilized piece of land that I hope Ben is doing nothing but turning the surrounding properties into equally good things. And actually, in this instance, he'd be a neighbor. So again, I was unfamiliar with prior consideration, but those two pieces were introduced since the last meeting, I guess, and I do believe they are relevant. So I just want to introduce those and let you know that Stewart's is here. And if there's anything any additional or other information we can provide, I'd be happy to do so.
Do you have a presentation for us, or because I had questions, but I didn't want to interrupt your process.
No, I mean, it's just, the zone change, again, it was submitted by Patent Land Development and not by Stewart's, because I think there's a larger land transaction at play. So the subdivision can't occur until B2 zoning is established, because the B2 zoning is what enables subdivision, and then that would trigger the Stewart's contract to take effect. So I'm glad to answer any questions, but I try to I sit on a city council, so I try to make the presentations as global as possible and then answer any specific questions that you may have, so fire away.
Okay, great. There was a Delta engineer that came in July, Annika. Yeah.
Okay, Chris from Delta is here now.
Yeah, he did come in July, and he did represent it as Stewart's at that time.
Okay.
The July meeting. Also, Mr. Feinberg from the Realty Company said last month at our board meeting that Price Chopper is under new ownership, and they are looking at relaxing that non-compete clause. So that's something.
Mr. Feinberg is here.
No, actually, I'm Feynman, I'm with Vanguard Fine.
Oh.
Right, but
Feinberg is the owner of yeah.
But I know you're speaking to this location
Yeah.
tonight. I know that's what you're addressing, but
there has never been a subsequent conversation other than the prohibition. And I have an industry relationship with Marabito Fuels, and I don't want to misrepresent that. But they also shared the same experience in that they evaluated the site, and the Price Chopper lease is a prohibiting factor. So even though the zoning might be appropriate, Price Chopper prohibits competing interests from being on the parcel.
Well, when Mr. Feinberg from the Realty Company was here last month at the town board meeting, he did say that they were willing to relax some of that and be open to discussions.
He said he would inquire if they would.
He would inquire.
Right.
Yeah, they have
I
not.
didn't say they were.
I don't do residential real estate because, as you can see from my face, the words "look at this bay window" do not strike me as something that would, make me money. But I do commercial real estate because leases and rules and zoning and things like that are things that I, can live with. That it's not going to happen. So Price Chopper is not going to be a viable alternative for anyone in the convenience store business.
Thank you. Could you just let me know who is actually applying for the permit?
Patent, yeah, so Patent Farmhouse.
Development?
Yep. So the issue again is that the B2 zoning is what enables the subdivision to occur. And then the triggering of the subdivision is what allows Stewart's contract to kick in. So we can't, we have a global agreement, and our global agreement is based on the subdivision happening, and that can't happen without B2 zoning.
Is Martin Patton the owner of the property? Or
Yes.
is it the Emmons Farms Corporation?
No.
Patton, did he close?
Pat, we believe owns the property, bought it from the Emmons property.
They subdivided it.
Subdivided.
At the planning board, it was a approved subdivision. With that approved subdivision, he was able to complete the purchase.
Correct.
But he's not able to further, as I understand, he's not able to further subdivide it.
That, I don't know.
It was just we pulled off
You got-
the
yeah.
one piece, and it was one piece only, was what it was.
Okay, so he owns it and it's not a lease. Okay, we had the presenter from Delta come, and yeah, that looks like a similar plan, so it's the same thing in July when he was here.
Yep.
From Delta Engineering, it's the same presentation, the same, nothing has changed.
No.
Well,
Well, yeah, the only thing that's changed is that the building cannot be reused. I think, again, the two misconceptions I was asked to address, one I did via letter, was that, the Price Chopper alternative is not viable. And since then, I learned that the building will be or has been condemned and has to come down. So I think that those are the two overarching concerns I was made aware of tonight. And then
There
asked,
was the demo permit, yeah.
okay.
So I guess I'm asking if anything changed, because we did vote last month, and the motion didn't pass for the rezone. So at last month's board meeting.
Again, it's my understanding it was 2-2, so it was no action, but that these two pieces of information may be relevant and new.
Yeah, and we also did a second vote, which kind of codified the action that we took. We did a second vote that it was 2-2, and we were not planning to rezone that piece of property.
Okay.
We're gonna leave it as residential.
The second vote was only because you incorrectly did the first vote.
But my understanding with the height was that, yeah, it was,
It was
letting
supported
them know we were
incorrectly.
wrapping up that subject and,
It didn't double it. Like, it wasn't a double whammy, it was just because it was incorrectly stated in the vote.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was, as I indicated to the speaker earlier, I was unaware of the board's previous action, I guess, lack of better, inaction, I guess I'll call it a consideration. These two pieces of information were relevant, and I was asked to come here tonight and just make them known.
thank you.
I'd like to just add, first of all, thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak. I'm Barry Feynman. I work with Marty Patton and the family on the property. We were the ones that brought Stewart's into this project. Stewart's, just to clarify everything, Marty wanted to go with a commercial piece of property, and with the zoning, we did not know the exact use at the time. Stewart's had some interest, but they did not make a full commitment to us either at the time. So when we started the process, we were looking for the rezoning and the subdivision. That being said, I guess we're a little bit looking for some direction on the process, because if it's 2-2, we're just not sure where we go, how we proceed, what do we do? So if you could give us some clarity, we would appreciate that as well. So thank you.
Well, 2-2 means that nothing changes. So there's, at this point, no support to zone that to B2.
Is there an appeal process at all, or anything like that,
You
or?
have the right to appeal, or the right to reapply if there's something different.
So based upon what we presented tonight, do we have the right to reapply? Because the property now we know is, the building's condemned, and Stewart's also has no direction of going across the street, which I think we're trying to clarify both those points tonight, and that's why we're here.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, I think I'd have to ask legal counsel, but as you can see, we don't have representation tonight.
Okay.
Um,
Can we follow up with you during the
you
week or
can,
so?
absolutely, yeah. If you leave your contact information, I can email them and, or have a phone conversation and find out what could be your next step.
Right, thank you.
But as far as the standpoint, there is nothing different or new, so thanks for checking, but there's nothing as far as, you know, we knew that the building was gonna have a demo permit. I never pictured it being there with the stores behind it, you know, and, also, what was the other thing you mentioned? Oh, they were here in July from Delta about Stewart's shop, so that was, you know, those were all in our mind when we made our choices.
Okay, because our understanding was, and I don't mean to beg the point, but our understanding was we were under the assumption somebody thought we could reutilize the building, and we discussed, or open up another restaurant. And that's why we thought, you know, knowing that the building was condemned, and is no longer, you know, it's coming down, being demolished, then maybe we'd open up to a different idea and a different thought process.
Maybe someone in the audience suggested that too, because we get ideas from the public too. Maybe that's where that came from, about reusing it as a restaurant. But, okay.
Thank you, appreciate your time, appreciate it.
Thank you. The next presentation we have is the short-term rental ad hoc committee. Kim?
Yes. All right, so hello, everyone. I'm gonna come on down and so I can kind of see what I'm at. All right, so I'm here to give a presentation on our we had a community ad hoc committee that took a look at short-term rentals. So my goal today is just to report out our findings. There are no recommendations or proposals or anything coming forward, but it's to share the information that we gathered. Okay, so the purpose of our committee was to really take a look at our current policies, our regulations, our current practices having to do with short-term rentals. And then, so what we did is we reviewed our current policies. We worked with the community to engage communities. We also added ADUs, which is accessory dwelling units. We looked at the evaluation of the impacts that short-term rentals are having. And while we worked to recommend improvements, there was differences of some opinions within our board. I mean, within our committee, which is great to have. So on the right, you can see the members that we had. We had a cross listing of people from across the community. Myself and Trish from the town board, Jenny and Reggie from the planning boards, we were represented that way. And then we had committee members who had short-term rentals, some that did not have short-term rentals, some that make a business of it, and others that, you know, that have just their own. So we really tried hard to get a cross section of membership. This is as of September 11th, 2025, and this data is already incorrect. I'm not sure exactly what the number is up to, but I know that as of September 11th, there were 79 active short-term rentals, and that number has increased. This is a snapshot of where these locations are within the town, and you can see they're very consolidated in in West Oneonta, the West End, along Old South Side, which makes sense given the proximity to the All-Star Village. We also did a community survey. We were able to collect 41 respondents, which is not huge, but it, you know, it ran the gamut. I will say by far the number one site was housing concerns. So there, and the impact that it's having on affordability, availability, and the impact of investor competition and displacement of young, you know, homeowners who are trying to buy. These, the other highlighted, you can see were also some of the insights that came from the survey as well. And if you go to the next slide, there's also, you know, very much support for short-term rentals, which again makes sense We live in this community that provides this tourism dollars, additional income for families, with the ability to renovate, maintain homes, revitalize. All of those are good things. So even people who are concerned about short-term rentals understand the viability and the impact that it has. We also looked at a local housing survey. This is a year of data from October 2023 to September 25. This is only listings on the MLS. This does not include private sales. But if you can take a look, what you're seeing here is that how the graphs have shifted. The days on the market very dramatically have dropped. The number of active listings that are out there, again, you can see the average days on the market have dropped by more than 20% compared to 2023. And inventory is at a historic low. In addition to looking at the MLS, we also looked at other housing studies that have been done by community partners over the past few years, and every single one of them found that access to affordable housing was also an issue. So the town board has been concerned about this and has made changes. So on the left, these are things that we have, as a board, we have already enacted. We increased the permit fee from a flat rate to based on allowable occupants. We've also added a yearly checklist with an attestation, that people need to complete. We also collect now local information since some of our short-term rentals are bought by people who do not live in the community. And we also have a plan to put the names and contact information of short-term rentals on the website so that if you have a problem, you can contact that. We have also discussed, again, this is sort of as a board, we've discussed, looking at just having one yearly permit for short-term, continue that. One short-term rental per parcel. We've also talked about having a local contact within 10 miles, so if there is a problem, there's somebody local who can get out there. And we've also, discussed what happens with change of ownership. We also spent quite a bit of time looking at other municipalities, and many of these are similar to Oneonta, and also have that tourism emphasis, much like us. So we really did spend time, diving into what those look like. And so in the end, this is, again, these aren't recommendations, but they're considerations. And these are considerations that are supported by other municipalities. One is to restrict the number of short-term rentals, especially in residential zones, as you can see by the map and how that impacts. And maybe an encouragement of short-term rentals in commercial and rural zones where it's not a density issue. And those are current codes on the books for other municipalities similar to Oneonta. So that is available for us to happen. Other things that could require some further examination would be owner occupancy, and residency requirements living in the community as opposed to outside of the community coming in. And then also thinking about neighborhood density. The final thing that we also looked at is accessory dwelling units, and there was amongst our committee really support for encouraging of accessory dwelling units on people's current properties, where we again, we're not making recommendations, we're just offering this to the board, where we have one accessory dwelling unit per primary residence. You would have to meet all zoning and building codes. Of course, you have to go through that process, and it would still limit one short-term rental per parcel. But that means you could live in your house and rent out your ADU or vice versa. And that is the summary. I really want to thank the committee and the for their support. We worked hard on it from like June to September. So I'm kind of passing it on to the board now to think about and to take it and move forward.
Thanks for all your work, Kim, and especially Jenny, both of you, Kim and Jenny, thank you, and you
Yeah,
really,
and you.
well, you did an excellent job, and there's a lot more of information that you included that was very relevant and helpful.
Thank you. Next on the, sorry.
Thanks, Trish.
Thank you, Joe.
We have next presentation from Oneonta.
Good evening. My name is Nathaniel Nichols. I'm of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hanna. I'm here in TJ Roon's stead. Before I introduce my client to you, I just want to essentially thank you for the opportunity tonight to present. And tonight the intent is to essentially answer any questions that the board has. But before doing so, we just wanted to reiterate that we were awaiting written questions. The board is still awaiting those questions, and again, we're more than willing to answer those written questions as they come in. Furthermore, if there's any recommendation by the planning board pursuant to the procedure under the PDD, we would just be requesting that if there is any such recommendation. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to my client, who would like to just present some clarifying points of the PDD and also to provide any further details in relation to any questions that might arise from the board, and if the board so wishes, any members of the public who have presented questions to you. Thank you. After you.
Yeah. So following from our last month meeting, is there any questions which needed clarification? First, I will take that, and then I will give more clarification.
I did ask quite a few questions last month. I think one of the biggest questions that I still am really trying to understand with is what do you plan to do with the overage of energy or heat that's produced from the growing of the vegetables, of the vegetation?
Yeah. Okay. So let me take this question into two divisions, right? Like this will clarify some of the questions like everyone is raising here, right? Initially, we said our project is 3 phases, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I was keep on explaining this, but still someone new one comes and spreads this misinformation again. On first phase, we said we are going to use garage, 1,300 square feet, and there we are going to do this research, how to utilize this waste heat from the servers. That is our phase 1 in the garage. And that's where we are going to introduce our technology to heat the house, to do this first phase. Once we have actual proper information, how we are able to use this waste heat to heat the facility. Then we are going to second phase. That's where our barn comes into the picture. And then in our meeting, we said everyone started talking about 200 square foot building and all that, right? And we made it very clear to everyone that we are not doing that third phase here. We are doing it somewhere else. Because we heard community and then we said we are doing only first phase and second phase. We made it very clear, but still these questions keep coming up. And in second phase, we said we are going to do hydroponics. And I explained this whole technology in planning board meeting on July 7th. And completely this was omitted. There is no record of my in minutes of meeting. And this is where misinformation actually started, because even though I explained it in meeting, there is nothing of that record. And we sent a follow-up email asking to include it and have a site visit. But still there was no response for us. I feel like that is a misinformation. Even though we gave the clarification of hydroponics we are doing, everyone thinks we keep on changing our plan. We never change this plan and we keep explaining the same thing. And because there is no record of this information in minutes of meeting, that's the reason everyone thinks that, oh, they are changing this plan again. October they said something, July they said something, on May they said something. No, we never changed our plan. It's the misinformation because records are not correct right now. That needs to be updated. And we did mention this to Brett in our call, and we asked them, like, there is a pick and choose of what we are answering, and it was not recorded properly. We did mention to a supervisor already. To coming to your question, right? So last month also I tried to explain, but I wanted to discuss with you to explain whole calculations, everything. So when I gave that numbers, right, it's the peak, how much we can go. Suppose, for example, when you are doing sizing of a equipment, right, you will do it for the peak, but you will not use it all the time peak. What you will do is, when I'm saying like 400 kilowatt is my size, total size, suppose hydroponics, and it has, suppose 250 kW of hydroponics, 50 kW to 75 kW of AI, and pumps, lights, everything. It includes, like, if we take 400, for example, it includes everything. AI servers is part of it, 50 kW, but everything is hydroponics. If I use AI servers or if I use heat pump, still it is almost same. There is nothing much difference there. But why we want to use AI is that is where, like, everyone keep asking, oh, for your business you're spending this much money, and someone read about hydroponics business, it is not a viable business, right? That is the problem solving we are doing. I explained this last time. That is the problem here. We are trying to solve it using AI servers waste heat. Anyhow, for hydroponics, if you want to use technology, you are going to use it, AI. Why not have the server at that place and use that waste heat? There's nothing wrong in it because we are using it as a utility and we are sizing it according to the facility needs. If I'm saying 75 kilowatt for my AI servers, I'm not using 75 kW all the time. It is not under stress. It is the peak. Suppose when the winter is like 0 degrees outside, you're just sizing it in a way, you're able to go up to that. But always you're like running it at 50K or 40 kW as per the need, right? And to your question, the heat generated from the plants and that's all waste heat, right? AI servers is giving that waste heat, which is we can control it, how much we can use it, how much we want to generate it. Now the lights also producing that heat. In winter, no issues because we are using that heat through radiant flooring and we are able to use that. In summer, we are using the same heat with absorption chillers. If it is more than what is sufficient, we don't have to run AI servers continuously. AI servers are there as a supplement, as a utility to provide heat or cool. So for your question, if we don't need, we don't have to run them all the time.
So are you saying that you're only planning on 8 servers?
No. So again,
Or did I not hear that?
so we are not providing this many servers I'm going to use. It is not like that. It is sizing is different. When I'm saying 75 kW, right? What kind of chips you are going to use, like what kind of GPUs you are going to use, like what is that whole equipment you are going to use. According to that, the sizing will happen. Okay, but when you're actually having, it can be like 8 or it can be 16, it can be anything. But I cannot give a number for 75 kW this many servers because it all depends upon what is exactly you're going to configure the equipment.
I also had some questions about like oversight and what that was going to look like, and I'm still not sure I understand who will be running this, what's the day-to-day?
Okay, yeah. So someone said 5 employees are not sufficient. Yes, I know that 5 employees are not sufficient to run the hydroponics. And they said, like, what is the qualifications we have for having hydroponics, right? As I mentioned last time, again I keep on repeating, I am into farming. So I am doing the same exact project in South Jersey. This is not one project I'm doing here. I'm already doing that. We got approvals and I'm already doing it there. So qualification-wise, that itself says that I'm qualified for that and I'm doing farming. And then hydroponics, coming to your question, the number of employees or who is going to do that, right? So we wanted to build, how to say that? So initially we may have to hire some professionals, initially, because we have to run the hydroponics. This is a research facility. We are not saying it is a business. Business model is different, research is different. And that's where SUNY comes into picture with internships and SUNY Kobo. And there are so many different universities. We are going to involve everyone into that. And internships will be learning from the professionals. So I cannot say if you ask me to give me a name, I cannot give a name because at that time we are going to hire some of the professionals who are needed to pass on this information and so that interns can learn and do the research. And these interns and researchers are our potential employees here. That is how we are trying to retain these students who are coming here and leaving right now. But we are trying to hold them here so that we can provide that job opportunities to them. It is not just hydroponics we are talking about. AI or it's an IT hub, any new innovation, any new ideas. They can come up with anything. We said we are going to help them as much as possible. We are trying to create IT hub here. Is that answers your question?
Yeah, and you had mentioned you're doing this exact same place in where?
In South Jersey.
I would love to talk to the people the community there, the town people.
Yes. Yeah, I can give you a full tour of that. That's not a problem. If you want more details, I can definitely give you that. I can give you a full tour of it.
Well, I would just like to know.
It's
what would be different about there and here?
So it's the same. It's the same thing. I have a greenhouse also there, extra, and it is not as big as this barn. It is a little bit smaller barn there.
I guess I'd like to know what the community is so I could call their town
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I can give you all the details. Yeah, no issues.
What about generators?
So, like last time I mentioned about this, right? Generators, we don't want to use generators because, again, my whole motto is to bring down the carbon footprint here. So, why I want to do a business when I know it is not a viable? Simple question. Hydroponics, that's where the problem, right? When I know the problem, I'm trying to solve it in a different aspects using technology here. Generators, yes. I don't want to use the generators, but I want to come up with a different technology here. There are some small modules where we can just bring onto the side or keep it inside the barn. That will actually generate the electricity for required energy. So it is like completely, they are very silent, they're like compact, small modules.
So internal.
Yeah, it's all internal. So there is no sound pollution, there is like all we talk about generators, there is nothing.
So I think some of my questions are, honestly, we've had a lot of presentations, we've heard a lot from you, but there's never anything specific, whether it be the size, number, or models of the servers, the actual power requirements. You have said that you spoke with NYSEG, but we still don't know exactly what that is going to be. We did talk about the water, but what about the wastewater? I mean, noise. We don't know. These generators could generate noise, but we'd like to know what the noise specifications would be. I mean, not just they won't be loud, but what are their specifications? And engineered stuff. We haven't seen anything engineered in any way, shape, or form. We've talked about food production. You gave us a number potentially of how much hydroponically grown food would be. Well, what's the distribution plan for it? What's the preparation? What's the storage? Is this going to be an FDA-approved facility? Who's going to work that? So there's every time we come up or think of this, we actually come up with a new question because we just haven't seen anything concrete. And that's really what the problem is, I think. or trepidation with us, for every question you answer, we come up with 5 more.
I'm ready to answer all of those.
And I think it's really because we have never seen anything concrete. We did see a presentation, a PowerPoint, but it never really per se showed anything, whether it be engineered or concrete with real data, like what the servers look like, what their specifications, so we can even look into it. What the generators look like, the gallons per day, gallons per hour, gallons per year that'll be used. Because while Marie says there's sufficient water, which I do know, however, as you grow, the water table can change. What's your plan if there's a drought year? Things of that nature. Those are just questions that we've had. So that's one of the biggest problems I think we have as a board, realistically, is we just don't really know what we're looking at because we haven't seen anything on paper with that. So,
Am I allowed to talk again? No.
well, it's their presentation. They could let you talk, I guess.
And to your point on that, any questions that come up, we're more than willing to answer them. As we've been indicating through TJ, we are more than willing to answer written questions. As these questions are coming up, even if you give us a call, we're willing to answer them. The problem is, being put on the spot as far as these presentations would be difficult to answer all of those questions, and I'm sure as these presentations are going on, additional questions then come up as you were indicating. So if there needs to be an ongoing dialogue between the town and our client, that's something that we're more than willing to facilitate. Additionally, in written form, these questions would be giving you firm answers. They would also be something that would then be tying the client to their written statement. And again, that would probably dissuade some of the concerns that the community would be voicing today. So again, we would be welcoming any written questions that come up, and we would be more than happy to answer them as they do
I think
arise.
it's more than that.
Yeah.
We are yet to see, a business plan. It's not just us asking questions, I agree, I think Brett just summed it up completely perfectly. There's there's so much missing from.
Right.
from
And as
That's what we want to hear, right?
But
Yeah.
it's like going to the bank and saying, I want to open a business and not having a business plan.
well, and as my client indicated, the idea of this is to essentially perform research into a problem that is being viewed globally. The fact of the matter is the PDD application doesn't necessarily have to take financials into account, doesn't necessarily have to include a viability of a business. Really, the factors of the PDD are outlined within the town code. So quite frankly, if this is meant to be a research facility, then obviously research operates at a loss in many instances for a significant amount of time. As was indicated on the privilege of the floor, the idea and the hope is to also obtain grants in the future, which would then obviously fund some of the research going forward. So if there is a concern in relation to that, although we would be saying that it's not necessarily relevant for the PDD application, we would of course be willing to express what the intent behind the project is in a more thorough and more in-depth way.
Let me re-clarify. I'm not asking for your financials. I am saying you could not go into a bank and ask for money without a plan. It's that same here. You can't come to the board and ask for a zone change and tell us, well, trust us, we want to do agribusiness. If you've got a 1,500 square foot garage, what exact server are you putting in? What does it look like?
So you're asking the technical questions, right? Exactly, you want to see the technical question, servers, everything. Yes, because this is a research, right? Like I'm not saying this is a business. Business model is different from a research. I'll tell you the difference.
Not from a zone change.
Okay, that's the reason I'm not bringing the financials here. So if I'm doing a exact business, I'll say I'm using 10,000 square foot building. I'm going to put 50% of this for lettuce, 50% or 30% for tomatoes. I will have exact plan what I'm going to do because my motto there is to make profits. Exactly, right? But here in research and development, there's a fundamental difference. We are not looking at exactly for profits. There's other motto here. We are trying to solve a problem here. In that solving the problem, decisions will change very quickly, depending upon the results what you are seeing. As you are asking for the servers you want to see, right? I already mentioned that we are going to use immersion technology, right? And in immersion technology, there are like different vendors are there. I have to talk to them. I have to make a, how to say that? I have to build size, right? Like, it's not like I'm going and saying purchasing. It is not like that. I have to explain my project to them and get them on board because this is a research and development. What are the server types we can use it? Because not all servers right now existing in the market are not compatible with this technology we are talking. Those servers are different servers. So that's the reason like I'm not giving a concrete, this is the server I'm going to use, because they will suggest me which server I have to use. So that is the difference. If I'm saying like I'm doing it for normal data center, I know which server I have to bring in, which GPU I have to use. But this is not the case here. I have to go with the vendors, what they recommend for my research here.
So let me ask two questions now based on that. If you're already doing this in New Jersey, what would be different with this facility if you're replicating what you're doing in New Jersey? And once you solve what you're looking for, what are you going to do then? Are you just going to close shop once you solve the problem? Or?
No.
When you solve the problem research, don't you move on to something else?
So can I answer that, Brett? I have an answer for you. So past few weeks, I've actually been doing a lot of lengthy research, and I've actually reached out to over a dozen plus farmers in upstate New York and New Jersey who have officially closed their season after a certain time, cannot open until April, May, June, because they're unable to grow anything sustainably because of the brutal winter weathers. And I've kind of basically, if you need to know, I've pitched the idea, and they're like, this is something that can help us. So yeah, once the research is done and we're able to create a prototype, a model, as we explained when All Out Seago came out to the property and did a thorough site visit, it's something that we can then implement with small-based farmers and help them throughout the year. So they're able to not close shop for 6-7 months and continue growing throughout the winter.
And after that,
what was different than here from New Jersey?
Okay, let me explain. Yes.
Like, why would we redo that?
So there are two differences here, right? Here we have SUNY. That is the strength here because of the internships. And that is where the community growth comes into. Like we are trying to get into the community. There, I don't have SUNY there. It is whatever I'm doing, that is on whole based on my research, and at the same time, I am in touch with Rutgers University. But I don't have a MOU or anything like that, because I met a professor before even starting this, like 3 years back. I spoke to a professor. These are my idea, like how to go ahead. He suggested me to start first with a greenhouse and then to the barn, like expand it slowly. So I followed that footsteps, and again, I sent an email. I'm at this situation right now, like I want to make progress. What are your suggestions? I sent an email for another meeting soon. And here, that is the difference. SUNY is here. It is going to be easy for research purpose for me. That is a fundamental difference. And then if everyone says that, okay, why do you have to do phase 1? Can you do it phase 2 directly? Yeah, I can do phase 2 directly. I don't have to do phase 1. But that's how we designed it. And if everyone says that, oh, we have problem using AI servers in garage and doing research, oh, I will remove that phase 1 completely. That's the reason I was keep on saying, you can put a condition how I can do this research. I was, from day one, I keep saying, put a condition on which barn I'm going to use, how much power I'm going to use. We made it multiple times. So if any objection is there with phase 1, we will not do phase 1. That's the reason we said we are not doing phase 3 here. Phase 2 is very important because of the research with SUNY and other universities.
It's hard to put restrictions when we don't really understand. I understand you can't tell me whatever specific
server, those sorts of things, but I would expect that there would be a detailed plan that would walk us through exactly.
So why don't we do like this? Give me some questions. Like, you want to see energy usage, or you want to see like how this hydroponics will be divided, or give me that. I will be happy to answer all of that.
That is back on you to explain to us. Here's another way I think about it. What I'm getting from you is, again, this is interesting stuff. I'm not discrediting that. I feel like I'm getting a 50,000 view, and it needs to come down to 10 or 5.
So to give you that, right, as I said last time also, I was keep mentioning this, right? In the 10,000 square foot, AI servers will be at the corner, like not even like 1/10. It will be like, it's waste of talking about AI servers at this point. If that is the concern, we are talking about hydroponics as a concern, then let's focus on hydroponics only. And then if we take a 7,500 square foot as my grow area, or 25,000 square foot as canopy area, because we will be doing layers, right? The design depends on how much percentage of space you are allocating to which particular plants. Suppose if it is lettuce, right? It will take less space, and you can go in rows, multiple rows, like 3 rows or 4 rows. That is like you're increasing your canopy area with that. If you're doing tomatoes, it goes vertically. Like the lighting will change how you are going to use it. If you are going for rows, the LED lights, how you place it will change completely. If you are going for vertical, how you place your lights will change that definitely. The way, if you are using these buckets, or if you are doing a different technology, it all changes, varies. So that's the reason I can't give you a concrete answer. This is particularly the amount of power usage happens here, because if we are changing from 30% to next time 40% to see the difference, and if we are changing the temperature of whole facility itself from 65 to 70, or I will say that instead of 70 I want to change it to 75, then all dynamics will change because of the temperature, how they are growing, and what kind of nutrients we are giving. Like everything will change. That is what the new research, right? So that gives, as a study, what is the optimized situation here, like what is the temperature we have to use for this particular plants. So that's the reason I'm not giving a definite answer here, because it all comes in the research.
And I understand exactly what you're saying. So maybe I don't need the 1,000. I don't need the 1,000.
I can give you one model if that is gives you a full idea like how things will change. I can provide you a model.
Currently, you're doing this in your
So I just started. I just received approval. And I was 2 months back. I started the process because it's getting delayed here. I don't want to lose the winter, so I started immediately there. I got approval immediately, and I'm starting to change the barn into insulation, like radiant flooring. So I'm contacting all the contractors now to get estimates for that.
So you got approval from who?
From the town board.
Could you provide us that, whatever you provided to them, both an application and an approval, so we can understand what they saw or understood?
Yeah.
If you could provide that is the question we're asking.
Yeah, they look AI servers as a utility, purely utility, and because I'm already doing farming there since 4 years, they know me, what I'm doing there, how I'm growing there, using the greenhouse. I built it myself, that whole greenhouse, and I did the radiant flooring there. So they know me, they are seeing what exactly I'm doing there.
I think it would behoove you to give us contact information of the people that you are working with, the people who gave approval.
So contact information, resolution of the approval, anything in relation to that process.
What's the municipality?
We can give that to them.
Yeah, we can give that everything, all the information.
We don't need it right now, so we're not going to look right now.
And more to your question, Mr. If we were to provide you with types of equipment that would be utilized, would that be enough to kind of answer some of your concerns? Because obviously getting into specific models, we're not at that stage yet. But if we were to tell you it would be this type of LED light or this type of...
Again, I I feel as though I am getting the 50,000.
Right.
Okay, I get that. I cannot make decisions off of here. I don't need this. I don't need to know what light bulb, if it's a GE or a L, whatever, I don't need that. But there should be a plan. You know, I mean, I understand if you're gonna grow tomatoes, it goes this way, and beans go this way. That's not what I'm asking, but again, think about the analogy. You can't go to a bank and say, I want money, and not have a concrete idea of what that's going to look like and be able to explain it and show it to banks.
So when we go to the bank, I'm withdrawing my money or I'm going for a loan, that makes a difference, right?
I'm not, it's an analogy.
No, that's-
I'm not asking for financial, it's an analogy.
Yeah. So
Well,
I can give you a generalized model, if that helps. And again, I can give you a model to you, but again, what you are trying to interpret out of that, if you sit down with me, then I will be able to provide more information. That's the reason I was keep on asking. If you can do a site visit, I will be able to explain it in detail.
And you also have a community that needs to understand. It's not just talking to the four of us.
It's the apprehension between the community and us. I mean, we can't even sort this out ourselves to even go through the process. I mean, you still gotta go, we gotta do a referral to the county, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to come back. If we don't give them good data, if you don't put good data in, you have to get good data out, right? Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And then from that point, we gotta set a public hearing. We're just transparent and want these people to speak. And we have business to do every day, but we can't even get to that point where we can have, just a meeting with the folks that want to speak about this.
So that's what we.
Two people came and did a full physical walkthrough and have a deeper comprehended understanding of this. What's stopping any of you guys from also doing the same? Because physically walking the space and visualizing and seeing what it is we're talking about versus just an auditory understanding of it are two different things. So what's stopping the board since June and July to come and actually walk through the space? We have asked on a multitude of times. We even mentioned it to Brett and Hyde on the Zoom meeting that we had. So what is stopping any board member?
Well, I think I mentioned that I spent much time there as a youth, and my kids both played soccer in that facility for.
But playing soccer versus seeing it through our perspective and our vision and our plan are two different things, Brett.
Well, let me see it on paper first, and then I can envision it. You just tell me, if you put something on paper, I could look at it, look at the facility, just like you would do if you were a contractor. You get engineered plans, you can walk through the facility with the plans and look up and say, this is what, okay, I understand now. But when you're just verbally saying it, this is maybe what we're gonna do here, this is maybe what we're gonna do here, it's very.
That's what last month we asked, right? Like if you have any questions, and we agreed to have a meeting, separate meeting to understand this whole project. We were waiting on you guys, we didn't get any reply. If you are specifically saying, hey, we want to see these plans, we want to have this, we would have planned accordingly and we came with that answers. And we were just waiting on you guys saying that, okay, send us some questions. We did not get any reply. And I think TJ already sent a status asking, are we doing it or not?
Are you aware that it's the applicant's responsibility to inform the board? It's not our responsibility.
That's the reason we are sending a status also, are we getting any questions or not? That's the reason we are asking these questions, right?
Okay.
Well, let me, there was a question asked by you, the lawyer.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Nathaniel
I don't want to call you the lawyer.
No, it's fine.
My
It happens
apologies.
to me all the time.
There was a question asked regarding the planning board.
Yeah.
I have an email from them, I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's rather lengthy. But some of the points say, we'd like to emphasize additional agriculture use is incidental to the proposed industrial use, which we believe is inappropriate in any form. It says additionally, it is noted that property was originally purchased, that owners were aware that the site was not zoned for this type of operation, and that's why obviously we can't go to the zoning board, because there would be no way you could ever prove any type of hardship.
I think there is a misinformation here. This is what exactly I will keep on saying.
What they're saying here. And then they said, after careful review and discussion, the planning board reached a consensus The board does not support the request for a zone change to accommodate the proposed project. So that's from the planning board. So that's something we have to take, that's one of our boards. It's not a binding decision, however, it is, we refer to them as we refer every project to the planning board. So we know in advance, before we make any zone or big changes to any property, would the planning board approve it? Because it's really, if the planning board won't approve it, it really changes the dynamic of what we have to think about here.
Well, and I think if we were provided that document, we'd be more than happy to answer any of the concerns that are referenced within that by the planning board.
Well, there's nothing to answer, they do not support the change.
So-
It's not a dialogue, they made a decision, in that case.
We did explain what happened on planning board, right? I did explain to you.
Yes,
We
I
are
did.
trying to explain this technology, everything. Two members started arguing in that presentation. So we had to stop it there abruptly. We finished only phase 1 at that time. They asked us to sit, and again, same questions were happening like continuously. I explained standing there, whole hydroponics, which never came into minutes of meeting. And at the end, yes, as you said, why owners purchase this agricultural land? That is the question she asked, but I never answered for that. They adjourned that whole meeting and they left. And a person sitting here, he threw our papers in front of us and left. Argued there, threw our papers here and left, did not give an opportunity for me to explain, and at the same time, those all explanation never came onto minutes of meeting. How can we say that it is fair for us, the planning board did consider everything? They did not even consider my whole explanation.
I have an answer for that, because during a planning board referral, it's being referred, it's not a discussion, it's not a presentation.
No, I'm not talking about this one, I'm talking about July 7th. On July 7th, this is what exactly happened. And recent, we didn't have any information, it's a referral, I understand. Because it's a referral, we did not get any notification, but they said no comments, but they took everyone, like everyone spoke, public spoke, but our representation was not there. They went out of fear that whatever public spoke, they took that as a basis. So in planning board, whenever we went there, it was never a fair game for us. Like we were never able to provide our information itself. We never got the chance.
The planning board can only make their decisions based on the application and what you presented with them. And as we've discussed in this meeting, we don't find there's sufficient information for us to know what exactly you're doing, so they had to go on the paperwork that you submitted to them. And so without presentation, they have the discussion, and that was the decision based on what you presented.
So I gave a presentation, I tried to explain them in July 7th, why it was not in minutes of meeting. That's the question, right? I did explain that to you, why it was, and I asked to update that in the minutes of meeting. If that was updated, we didn't have this issue at all, misinformation, all this time. Everyone keeps saying that we did not spoke about hydroponics. The gentleman said we keep changing our plan. No, we never changed our plan. That misinformation started from planning board. It's not in the file.
We can't.
So if I understand planning board is making a recommendation, but that is not fair recommendation at all.
We're at a crossroads, it doesn't matter, it's just a recommendation to this board, well, we're at a crossroads. You want us to make a decision right now?
No,
Okay.
that's not what we're asking for.
You need to do a nice presentation, do a nice
We want to have
PowerPoint,
vote.
show us what
We
your,
will go for voting.
your
They
plans
are not
are.
going to.
In the meanwhile, we can refer to 239.
We don't even have enough information to do that.
Well, no, actually, we do, because the 239 referral is gonna be what their application is. Unless they want to amend their application, the 239 will go on that, and kind of make a decision based on that.
If they're happy with that presentation.
I mean, that's your choice.
So
If you want to amend the
let me ask a
application,
different question, okay, to this board. Are we allowed to do hydroponics in this RA40 agricultural land? Yes or no?
Can you restate the question?
Are we able to do this hydroponics project in this agricultural land instead of going for PDD?
That's a legal question, which,
You have to look at the code, I'm sure it's allowable.
but we can't say that.
But I can't say that for sure.
As you have a lawyer, we probably would.
The reason
legal representation for that.
everyone keeps saying why we need a PDD. Yes, we asked for PDD because we are having contacts with MOUs with SUNY and other universities, and we will have a lot of contacts with other entities. That gives like little bit more entities to go and work with.
Having a PDD allows us to have partnerships with SUNY, other entities that we would want to involve. It allows us to apply for certain grants that wouldn't just be available as solely agricultural. There's a fundamental understanding as to why PDD is there, and Brett has said on a multitude of times, if we put a stipulation or if we do this, we do that, and we have agreed. We have literally agreed to whatever it is that you guys have said that you want to do or you want us to not do, and everything. At the end of the day, the PDD is fundamental if we want to do R&D and in order to get state-funded grants.
I want to be clear that on stamped May 1st, your application says property is located in town of Oneonta, of land currently designated as RE40. The parcel is proposed to be rezoned to industrial, which I understand you changed, to accommodate a data center. It does not say farming, hydroponics, any of that. So
And this is on recommendation of code enforcement officer at that time. And then immediately we changed it to, because that is a mistake or we took a suggestion from someone, we thought that will be good, but immediately that's the reason we changed it to PDD and we said it is a reason. And this is the plan always before. But application wise, yes, that was the mistake happened because we took a recommendation from code enforcement officer, which I don't want to pull here. That's the reason respectfully we changed it immediately to PDD.
I'm not arguing that. You said data center. It doesn't say hydroponics or anything.
And that's
I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
I understand, but I want to be very clear that as on May 1st stamped, it is very clearly.
That's what I'm saying. It's a mistake from from our side, believing someone will be able to provide that suggestion. We went with that, but we immediately understood this is not the correct way, and then we changed that name, everything, to PDD, and we explained it again from the beginning, phase 1, phase 2, and we removed phase 3.
I just want to be very clear of what this says. I'm not sure. I mean, if I don't, I guess here's what I would say. I would say if I would start, I would get out of the 50,000 square foot. I would get down in here and write it out, show us examples. Not a presentation that just has, what you showed us before, which was pictures of things. Exactly what are you thinking and trying to do? Help us to understand so we can help support you.
That is what exactly I'm saying. If you said this like last month, I would have prepared everything and gave a presentation now. But I was waiting on you guys to provide those questions. And we lost 1 month based on that. And we sent a follow-up.
Please understand it is not the board, it is your responsibility as the applicant.
We did ask again. We sent an email.
But I think maybe she's trying to say it's like a judge. A judge, it's not the burden of proof on the judge to find the person innocent. It's the burden of proof of the prosecutor or the defendant.
But what happened with us in planning board is also not fair. Our voice was never heard, never updated.
I believe that there was just an understanding based on the communications that were going back and forth that realistically the main priority was to obtain the questions by the town board, which could then be addressed specifically. We do understand that the applicant has the obligation, however, based on those communications and full context, that's where it came from.
I think that was the applicant's interpretation of that, but that is not our responsibility. It is their responsibility. And it is missing. It is lacking details for us to be able to make decisions.
Yes, and if there are details that are of concern, as we've been indicating for ad nauseum, I guess I would say at this point, we were more than willing to answer any questions, concerns, and if it is the town's board intent to have us provide a, down to the bolt detail, that's something that we would obviously understand if it was conveyed in that way. And now it is being conveyed in that way, and we understand.
it's up to you. You decide how you want to move forward.
So from the start too, when we first came in May, and we've been doing this, we've been getting regular meetings now with Echo Yoda, I didn't understand why you selected that property and not Pony Farm, where that was zoned for that, what you wanted to do at that time for industrial. I'm just saying, I don't know what led you to believe.
Again, last time I answered this question, the whole intent was even that application is a mistake. The whole intent was hydroponics project. That's the reason we purchased this agricultural land. I answered that last time.
So for me, it was also, it's not anything, I'm just overall, I'm deeply concerned with the rising number of rezoning requests in the town that have been coming to the town board in the last few years. I feel like they're being used as a workaround, to the standards of our zoning code. So when we make zone changes in a piecemeal fashion, and then for me, it includes the last thing we talked about too, the gas station. It is outside the comprehensive plan framework. We are risking inconsistency, favoritism, and public distrust. People who buy their homes in residential agricultural districts do so with the understanding that these areas are protected by zoning. They appreciate the quiet, open space, and residential character. Piecemeal rezonings undermine the stability and betray the trust that the residents who make long-term investments in their property based on the zoning code, the current zoning code. So that for me is what it's all about. It's these requests for zone changes. I just feel when people select where they live, they do it based on the character of that neighborhood and they want things to stay the same. So it's not meant anything personally to you or to anyone else that comes with a zoning change request. It's just for me as a town board member, I'm not comfortable without a comprehensive plan and revisiting, but I want to protect the character of the community and the the neighborhood.
We are not changing the character of the community because we are not developing any new structures. We keep on saying this. We are not changing or we are not developing any new constructions. We are just using the existing facility as is, and we are doing everything inside. So we are not changing the character of this community. So that is like a fear, out of fear that comments are coming, but we are not changing. We made it very clear many times.
Okay, so I guess we're right here, and it's 8:40, nearly 2 hours into this, and this has been the same story, meeting after meeting for nearly 6 months, and I don't think any of us are any further along than we were before. We've heard more public comment than on any other topic, including fracking. It's the board's pleasure to allow them to further clarify or just move on at this point. And it's really up to you. We could send this to the county for, as is, to the county for 239 referral, where they will make a decision as well, or would you like to further clarify anything?
I believe clarification is something that you've asked for, so we're willing to do that, and we think that would probably be the best way to approach it.
I mean, I think at some point we, as they say, proverbial, have to go to the bathroom and get off the pot as a board. And I think we're ready to do that, but obviously give you the opportunity, since there has not been, or there's been the illusion of miscommunication, allow you to do that. And at the next meeting, the scheduled December 10th meeting, we'd like to do another presentation that would hopefully clarify any of your questions. And prepare us potentially to send it to the county for their opinion, or referral or non-referral. We'd be willing to do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to suggest that we do a special meeting instead of our business meeting, because we got a lot of things to get done by the first of the year, hand off. So I mean, I'd rather have a special meeting for that.
We have to set that and advertise that.
Yeah. If the board's willing to do that.
I like that idea, Joe. We can really then
Just focus.
focus.
All right, so what we'll have to do is when we get together, we can get together on a date, communicate that to you, make the public notices, so
Thank
the
you.
public can attend if they so desire. And you'll advertise that, but we'll do that before the December 10th meeting,
Why don't we do it on the 9th? Day before.
December 9th.
Would that work for you? Thanks.
Pretty sure it works for me.
I'll make a motion to
At, or about what time? 5?
5 o'clock, good?
Well, if
We'll
we
do it
want,
earlier.
but if we want our community,
Six,
you know,
6 o'clock better?
6 or,
How about you folks, 6, good?
Well, it's really before, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's a public hearing,
Yeah.
but it's not public, it's a public meeting, it's not a public
Meeting.
hearing.
Yep, a special meeting.
So special meeting, just let's clarify what we're doing. A special with,
Exactly what
I'm
you said.
trying to make a motion.
yeah, well, just, I want to get the motion and, yeah, Joe said, go ahead, make the motion and then we'll,
Clarify the motion for me?
no, you make the motion and we'll,
So I'm making a motion for December 9th at 6 o'clock for a special meeting for Echo Yoga to review and update us as a board. Okay, it's open to the public. And hopefully, you'll have a good presentation and then we can move forward. And hopefully out of that meeting, we'd like to refer this for 239 and then a public hearing. That's our plan.
I'll second that motion. Clerk, call roll.
Fergie,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Duncan.
I'm gonna say no because I would have done the special meeting, but, I would have stopped at that with that's why I wanted to get your language of your motion. Just so go ahead, so that motion as you have it, I'll vote no.
Oliver,
Yes.
So Brian, if you just put, I would have had the special meeting, but the other components of the motion, I.
In the minutes, it's gonna say no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Need a motion to open a public hearing for the 2026 preliminary budget. Oh, right, thank you. So we don't need a motion to open the 2026 budget hearing, adoption meeting that was already open. So it's a continuation of the public hearing. Does anyone, the board, want to discuss anything regarding? Our 2026 budget is a combined levy of $3,941,662. $1,644,700 is the general, and the highways $2,296,962 dollars. There is no tax increase. It's a flat budget with the same $2.70 assessed per 1,000 as it was the last 2 years. So it's the third year in a row that we have a flat budget. Nicole Camerad is our budget officer. She did an excellent job balancing the budget, making sure every department had what they needed, in addition to being able to put additional monies away. Are there any questions? Nicole is here. If anyone had any questions, if they had a chance to look at it. Okay. If there are no further questions, you make a motion to close the public hearing. Sure.
So the total budget is like $3 million something dollars? And did I understand correctly, as someone saying that almost $1 million is slated to go for the care of the 2 people who are mentally?
No, that's county budget.
It's different, okay,
Yeah.
so it's not a third of the.
Yeah, that's just.
Still your money.
Still your money. Yeah. Yeah, it is still your money. Our money, it's our money, as part of our county. Yeah, but that doesn't affect us, but of course it does affect us in the respect of it, it doesn't affect our services here in the town, but whatever the county, of course, comes short, they would have to raise their taxes, which then affects you in a different way.
Got it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion, we close the public hearing for the adoption of the 2026 Town of Oneonta budget.
I'll second that.
Clerk, call the roll.
Fairclough?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes.
Rilka?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so then I'll make another motion to adopt the 2026 budget.
Second?
Clerk?
Fairclough?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes.
Rilka?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole, for a wonderful job. We will now move on to the committee reports. We'll start with highway, water, and sewer.
Yep, go ahead, Joe, you wanna talk about the jetter trailer?
Well, Cody Smith, home sick with a cold. Talked to him twice, first thing in the morning and then later in the afternoon. I didn't even realize it was him because he sounded so bad, but kind of around in Jimmy's here. So I was driving to Cooperstown this morning up to Kelly's Corner Road, and there's a Milford Highway truck, plow truck, loaded right to the hill. The back end blew out. So I decided to call Cody and said, "Hey, how's your day going?" Anyways, with that being said, we ordered a brand new truck, and to get a brand new truck is really difficult to get. So the chassis is here, you just can't get all the components to build a brand new plow truck. They won't be here in March. So we're limping along, trying to piecemeal a truck together. So hopefully we can get that all figured out soon, and we're not gonna end up like Milford. Jetter trailer, it's a budget item, $97,500 for Jared to use, which will be do maintenance, which will be really helpful. So looking for approval on that. For approval on the locator for services for gas, water, and electric for $4,206.92. And that's all I have for highway.
So we need to make 7 motions for those two.
Yep.
Can I ask I'm sorry, can I ask a question on that jetter trailer? Is that the one that sucks as well?
No.
Sweeper van is the other one.
Okay, that's the
That was
other
the
one.
other one.
Thank you, thank you.
It's the jet.
Thank you.
Right, we're still budgeting for that, but we're gonna wait to see
Okay.
if we have to use that money for a truck instead. So we maintained our rental status. If we need to rent it, we'll have that there. If things work out and the gods fall on us with the truck, and we're currently looking also for an additional used one, potentially, because there's 1 or 2 trucks that is having difficulty passing the inspection. We'll have those funds. The jetter truck would be for Jared.
Oh, that's,
County,
I remember,
for the water department, so that would be split between the water department, the different districts, as well as the highway department. So each department has sufficient funds to split that up. We will eventually be looking to access the current jetter truck we have. We have one, but it requires a CDL, which limits who can drive it, and is difficult to get in some of these smaller locations. So this would be able to be towed by a 3/4 ton truck. And all in all, it's what we're looking for. The locator would be shared as well as the highway department and the water department. We don't have one, and we rely on other people as we get further into more infrastructure. It's something important that we have. It prevent, accidentally cutting into things as we did when we were, it was just a phone line, but still, sometimes they miss things in the UFO, and it's important to be able to locate them ourselves. So, you want someone to make a motion to approve the jetter truck? Joe?
Yeah.
Second.
Carter?
All in favor?
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, make a motion to approve the purchase of the, I'm trying to do it without that, sorry, Metro Tech 810 locator. I made a motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Trish.
So we get the update on the plow truck,
Yep.
so that's great.
The procedure for the creation, would,
Yep,
did you
so
get any clarification on
Well,
that?
I asked the attorneys, but I haven't heard back. So, yeah, Brett, you have the funding for, this water project. I just wanted to make sure we did it correctly, the procedure. Last time we did with Southside, we had to do, petitioning, to get 51% of the assessed value of the residents to sign on to the district. Do we have to do something like this? I'd just like to know
Correct. That's
the
important to do.
procedure, but I have not heard back from the attorneys on that, so I don't know. But I mean, since you have the funding, I think it's good to start, getting it out there that the project is on the horizon, but we just want to do it
And so the
the
good
right
news
way,
is,
the right way.
we may have tripped upon $900,000 additional dollars today, so for that project.
In funding or for cost?
No, funding, not
Funding.
cost. And we've also found a way potentially to cut costs, by looking with another engineer, that has done the exact same project, and is going to be writing an estimate for us, with the engineering fees half of what we've already been.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're waiting on a proposal for that. So if we can save nearly 500,000 and get an additional 900,000, we may have better funding, goal. So, for that project.
Well, we don't have anything from the attorneys on the procedure for the creation.
Okay.
So we just have to get that answered. We don't have that tonight.
And then we also have, you want to do the last bullet item there?
Sure, we'd like to approve the hire of Ryan Yeager as motor equipment operator for the highway department. So I'll make the motion that we approve his hire.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Great, and while I still have the committee, is there anything else, Joe or Brett or Kim or anyone?
Pool, Joe, can we get a pool update?
So, electric panels installed.
You submitted the bill today, didn't they?
Yeah.
We're still cool with that.
Yep. NICEAG is gonna hook that panel up tomorrow.
8 AM, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we were trying to get hold of Cody. Did you? They need them there.
Oh, okay.
8 AM. If you
Well, he might not be there. Doug, where's Doug? Doug here? Can you be there? 8 o'clock tomorrow, pool? I don't know what they need you for, but,
I believe it's the generator, we got it ready for them.
okay. Thanks. Thanks, Doug.
Is there anything else on the pool, Joe?
They're prepping the subsurface for concrete. Doesn't look like they're gonna pour it this year, gonna be first thing in the spring, just because of conditions. It's probably a better end product if we let it settle, tamp it down, and then they're gonna start the fence shortly. New fence around it.
If they push work off, does that impact, because this is a different budget cycle, does that impact anything?
No, money set aside.
Yeah, and it probably honestly is a better idea to wait on the concrete, as much as I wanna get it done. All that settles with the water we have in the ground. If they don't pack it right or whatever, they pour the concrete, they'll leave voids under the concrete, and that will lead to cracking and stuff like that. So.
They got a week for concrete, and then they got another week to put the liner in. All the plumbing's done, it's all set to go, so they got about a week, so it's 2 weeks most.
Okay.
And we'll be set in the spring, so.
Are you optimistic they'll have the pool open? And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good. They'll come through. Patty, also, would you just take a minute on a Climate Smart Communities update, if you don't mind?
Okay, just a quick one. I met with Liz Brown from the city, Climate Smart, and we established a collaborative committee because the town needs to recertify bronze. And we actually can gain points from collaborating with the town. So we can utilize sort of the same actions and both of us can reap that benefit. So we'll meet periodically just to touch base and do things like tabling, natural resource inventory, which we can get the information from the county. And I think that was, and the only other thing, we're still trying to get names for heat pump installations. If I could just get any of the installers to call me back.
For where?
Say it again, Pat.
For in the town. So I have 5, I just need 5 more. So Dave McClendon, I just need zip codes and dates. And I cannot get any of them to give me, I tried
So
calling
you're
standard.
reaching out to Dave and he's not here?
Yeah, I mean, we can try again, I'll keep trying.
Air
And
to
I
air?
talked to spray foam.
Air heat pumps? Air to air mini splits or?
Yeah,
geothermal?
you know, like
Yeah, I did one.
air source. Okay.
D&D, yeah.
I
You did one?
Oh,
Okay,
sure,
good.
I'll-
I just need our zip code and the date. I just need the date.
He's in Morris though.
So we just need 5 more. And so same thing with spray foam. They're like, sure, and then, you keep calling, but I don't.
Yeah, but what do you need the information?
First,
Just install
to get
it.
the points. So in other words, we have actions to get points for recertification.
Oh, so you just gotta come up with a list?
Correct.
Yeah. So what I,
It's easy.
oh, you have no idea.
But we
how
can't
much-
get
This
I'll-
takes a lot of time.
I'll text you a bunch.
Yeah, that's all I need. I just need the dates and so it has to be the town. And then we fulfill an action, we get points towards recertification. So we have to keep that alive. If we want to keep bronze, we have to keep submitting actions. So we've already completed the heat pump action, but we can continue with that. The more heat pumps that are installed, we get points.
You just need the installations in the town.
Correct.
So when you would have that information?
Not necessarily. I tried code last time and they did not have it. So I found that the
Well,
most.
they pull permission to do that, so.
A lot of them don't. Yeah. So the last time, we only needed 5, now we need 10 more. For example, that collaboration with the town, that gives us 3 points. So we need a total of, say 100 points to recertify.
All right,
It's
suck me in
5
now, Pat, you're sucking me in. All right, I'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I just need dates and zip code. Dates and codes and the person who did it.
All right.
Perfect. All right, we'll move to public safety. I don't have anything for public safety other than we continue to struggle with some of our derelict properties. Clinton has been doing a good job placarding properties. He's placarded at least 5 in the last week. So he's the list of properties that we had, at least we're making positive strides. People are complaining now and getting action. So we're positively moving in the right direction with respect to that. Jeff, your car is still invisible?
Yes,
Yes,
it was supposed to be here.
I understand that. So keep babying yours, please. Food facility, technology, parks, anyone for that?
I do.
Parks,
I have something
very
exciting.
oh, yes. Please share.
We've down in Morton Park, our last pavilion at the end. It's got holes in the roof and really bad disrepair. I had an anonymous donor come forward, and they're willing to replace that. So I'm working on getting some estimates and some specs on what we want. But I'm visualizing 30 by 40, same footprint, concrete floor instead of cinder. Ryan, is that been rented quite a bit? Is that the top one out of all of them down there?
No, the hangar 1 is usually the most, but Grove is right close behind it.
And it's mostly like for family reunions?
Mostly birthday parties, little gatherings. It's usually, the hangars have a lot more people. That's for bigger things.
Bigger events.
Bigger events. But the Grove has a lot of little events. It's almost used as much as hangar 1.
Okay.
And then a lot of times it's used and not rented. You know, I mean, there's weekends that people go down there, yeah, they just use it.
so I'll keep you posted on that. So-
Yeah, we could discuss design and that'd be great. And we might even get a better price, we could tear it down ourselves.
Correct.
I was probably gonna fall down by itself soon, but, great, that's awesome news. Legislative, none. Human resource public benefit, we did discuss the hire of Ryan Yeager as an order equipment operator, so we're past that. Attorney, obviously nothing. Code enforcement, we just talked about Clinton, been doing a great job placarding houses. Next thing, we have a resolution, a vote on a resolution. What do you think? Okay, the resolution, is the establishing Town of Oneonta West End Water District number 002. In the Town of Oneonta, County of Otsego, pursuant to Article 12 of the laws of the state of New York law. This is to establish a water district for the All-Star Village so they can have usable water. The water district is not to any type of referendum because they are the property owner and only person within the district. As a result, there doesn't need to be any public hearing for that because they'd be the only ones in attendance. The project is, and the entire district is going to be 100% funded by the All-Star Village. So that has no tax implications to anyone in the town of Oneonta. Any other questions about the resolution? The city, the public water district 001 or West Oneonta water 001 is still at the city for their approval.
West End.
West End, excuse me, West End water district 001. This would be 002.
I'll make a motion to approve the establishment of the West End Water District number 002.
I'll second.
Or clerk?
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
Okay, we need a vote to accept the minutes of the October meeting.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes from the October meeting, and I thought Ryan did a great job considering all the navigating he had to do with minutes.
It's more like a novel.
Yes. So I make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, make a motion to approve the payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of bills.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, before we adjourn, we'll offer a privilege of the floor. Please keep in mind this one thing, something that we haven't heard, that'd be great, but it's something we've heard multiple times and it's not any different. Please keep it brief.
I just had a quick question, just to get clarification concerning the referral 239. My question is, in putting forward a motion which includes the referral 239 that's in conjunction with the special meeting, does that mean the board has already made a decision to move forward with the
No,
project?
part of the
the motion was to have the meeting, right, with them.
Yes.
And at that meeting, we hope to do it 239 and set a public hearing.
Great, and is it okay to ask what exactly the referral 239 is? Is it to like recommend it to the county?
To the county for review from the planning department, and they look at any county-wide aspects of impacts.
Got it.
That, like traffic lights, they look at our comprehensive plan, and see if it fits our comprehensive plan, and they'll just refer it back to us with those comments.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yep, you're welcome.
Every project gets a 239 review, just as part,
Not everything.
as zoning does,
It's on a state or a county highway,
right? That
state
is-
or county highway.
Okay.
Just state this. They're kind of good.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm just unfamiliar with the terms and procedures, so I appreciate that.
Anyone else?
I just want to start with thank you for just all the time and consideration from the board, from the community. I wanted to just kind of, I don't know if this is a question, kind of a statement of like, I know originally there was a lot of debate in the last meeting around like defining the business and whether it was an AI center or I think it's agro business, and now it's the term that's been used, all this means the hydraulic or hydroponic business is part of the decision that you all make around the type of business, and is that the burden of what Oneonta has to sort of explore, like describe as like what their business is, so that it can be zoned properly, or like the zoning change can be approved? Because I understand like you don't need like their financial business plan, but I would think like the definition of their business, is that part of the decision that you will make, is what type of business is this, and is that what you're asking them to define clearly?
Well, with any zoning, remember, it's a zoning map amendment, it's not a zone. And we need all pertinent information, because there's a lot of factors that are involved, I mean, one of which is, does it fit with the neighborhood character? Does it have any adverse effect on the neighborhood? So there's a lot of things that you need to know, and so you can't just do it blindly, without knowing those things.
Okay, and then is it like, that part makes sense too, of like like I know the community wants transparency, but just hearing it called something different at 3 months in a row, 3 meetings, is that part of like, I guess I really, that in my statement would be like, I would hope that would be a consideration of like, that it is important to communities to know what types of businesses are allowed to be rezoned and what that could open things up to. And I think, I would be concerned about these kind of changes in terminology every time, and to fit a definition that we think the public may agree with, or that maybe we know that they would agree. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
With the true subsistence, with the Oneonta application, did they submit full form EAF? Long form.
Yeah, there was an EAF, but was it long or short?
Long.
Long? Yeah, I'm looking at the paperwork too. Ryan says it.
Sir?
At what point will you make a decision on this project?
Well, to be honest with you, I can say we all wish we already would have, but like any applicant, we have to go through the process legally and give the applicant every opportunity, as we would anyone else. But because they've had 3 different applications, and each time it kind of has reset that, so we've had to repeat and go back through that process. Hopefully, I'm sure they would like an answer, and we would like to make a decision as well. But we want to make sure, like I said, that we have all the information and make an informed decision. Sure.
I just want to point out what I think everyone sees, which is just like how bizarre this situation is, that the applicant has returned again and again, and what they then get up and say is, we're here for transparency, please ask us any questions, we're here to answer them. And then when questions are asked, they say, well, actually, it's a research project, so we don't have to answer those questions, that's what we're going to figure out. We don't know how it's going to make money. We don't know what we're going to do exactly, what the sort of equipment will be. We don't really have plans. We're going to solve those problems. That's our project, is coming up with the answers to the questions you're asking, so we can't answer them. So there's like this circular logic, and then when people raise points that are based on their own submissions and prior statements and social media posts, they say, well, there's all this misinformation out there. And so again, we're just here to answer questions and clear up the misinformation that they created. The misinformation is originating from them, apparently, because we're referring to their own statements. So, I mean, I think it's like, at this point, it's pretty transparent that what's happening is the reason things are so vague is because the applicant wants to do something that the town clearly objects to, and is trying to kind of like either rebrand the project as something that maybe the town would approve. But I mean, honestly, it's bizarre that they can't even come up with like a fake specific application at this point. I mean, this is the third time here, and there's been no additional information about a project that's, you know, clearly going to involve a huge amount of funding, which no one does that without a plan. No one is just like, I'm going to start a business. And then every time, so many things don't make sense. So like this time, apparently, they've been referring to this project in New Jersey, which is supposed to be the same thing that's here. They've already done it there, they said. Now it turns out, as you know, the conversation proceeded, that actually they haven't even started the project in New Jersey. They're just about to get going with insulating the building. And then they're redoing that entire project here, they claim, just because of the proximity to SUNY Oneonta, because interns are that valuable to them, that they're just gonna duplicate a like multi-million-dollar project so that they can get SUNY Oneonta interns. That's plausible. I mean, every time they come here, they say things that are preposterous. And then they say they want to answer our questions. And then they say that the questions can't be answered and that the questions are being asked because of misinformation. I mean, it's totally ridiculous.
Well, we've set a December 9th, so hopefully we will have a good presentation that will answer our questions.
And so December 9th then takes place a board meeting, so that's the, no, let me finish my statement, I'm sorry. We'll have our December board meeting, but we won't be visiting this subject on the December 10th board meeting. It will then discussed on December 9th, solely for that purpose.
It will be a special presentation, so
And then
instead of being another presentation during the 10th board meeting, it'll be the 9th. And that'll be all of them, nothing else.
All,
Will you be voting on it then?
so let's follow that. No votes that night on December 9th then? No votes.
Come back on the town.
We gotta do a referral.
Yeah,
We gotta do a referral, 239, that's gotta come back, that probably takes, you know, they got 30 days to do that.
Well,
Then, you know,
we also, Joe, though, we also have the option of ending at any time.
Brett, can I ask one thing? Just 'cause I know everyone's probably gonna ask, are they, at the special meeting for the 9th, public comments not gonna be allowed, it's just a presentation?
It's not a public hearing, it'd be a presentation, so generally during presentations, there isn't, it's, you can be there, they're presenting to both us and you. If they so choose to entertain questions, I believe it's their right, but it's not just like what we're having, back and forth. Yes.
For SUNY Oneonta students, they can just ask for volunteers. They don't need a variance to have, or a zoning change. SUNY Oneonta students volunteer all over.
But I think I can't speak, I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, so they don't need this zoning change to get students.
I think if they have an engagement with them though, it changes it. For credit or something of that nature.
You can still. I've participated in it.
I can't speak, like I said, I don't know the answer.
Brett, you said end it at any time. Do you want to go further on that, or just want to stop with that?
Well, if we so choose at some point that we're going to disallow it, like anything, we can do that, but I think we need to hear everything that they have to offer. And at that point, we choose not to refer it or have a public hearing, I believe we have the right to do that. But,
We do that.
but we want to go give them every opportunity to present what they have to offer.
And if you don't get the answers you're looking for, what are you gonna do?
I think we have to cross that
Take a
bridge.
vote, or are you gonna kick it down the road again?
I think we have to cross that bridge when we see the presentation. Or we have legal obligation and to follow the law, and we, you know, we can't just, unfortunately, willy-nilly anything. We have,
So the law says that if the business plan changes every meeting, from one meeting to the next, maybe next meeting, it'll be, we're gonna farm lots and make paper. Does there come a time when it ends?
yeah, I think it does.
Well, I would expect that time should be
It's a
coming
good
soon.
question. There's a lot of angst on the residents and I'm sure on the part of the applicants. That creates a lot of angst for everyone.
Any further questions, or, excuse me, not questions,
And
comments?
I'm one of four, so I'm a lone voice.
Ma'am, in the back?
This is a little bit of a change of subject. I just wanted to swing back around quickly to what Michelle had brought up earlier about the cost to the county for people who deemed not able to pay for those legal costs, which is a valid thing to be concerned about, but sort of using that to dissuade future housing for people, supportive housing for people, doesn't really make sense because the people who are in housing crisis have increased mental health crises, right? So to say we don't want to give people with mental health crises housing to prevent the county from having to pay for this really doesn't make sense. Right, the people live here already, so, you know, to use that as an argument to prevent supportive housing is problematic.
I don't think she was doing that. She was talking about people that were mentally incompetent stand trial, not about housing.
But then at first, that is what she said, but then she brought that to, so please, if it ever comes up to build supportive housing for these people who can't stand trial, realize that when you build housing for these people, you're giving housing to people who then are not gonna be able to stand trial, and then the county is gonna bear that burden.
I think that's something you have to address with her.
You could email her through the website if you want to, the county board, if you want to contact Michelle, get clarification. Or, you know, if you want to contact.
Sure, I just wanted to make a public statement about that because it really is, it's misinformation. Not what she presented, what the county is paying, certainly that's not misinformation, I trust her but the fact that she was using that to try to dissuade future supportive housing, that's where I find it problematic and wanted to make comment on.
Thank you. No further comments? Make a motion to adjourn? Okay.
I wanted to read a statement, but I'm not able to read. Can I send that to you in email? Sure. Thank you.
And this will be posted as well. So make a motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Good.
Have a good night.